Should you play Gotham Knights in 2023? Back before Gotham Knights released in October, there was a lot of negative opinions about the game, the 30 frames per second, no 4-player co-op in story mode, and overall just a bland looking game with an empty open world, repetitive gameplay. And while all of these things are true for the most part, honestly, the game is not that bad. Now, I played the game for about a week, and I do have some thoughts. I did borrow it from somebody, so I didn't go and purchase it yet. And I don't want to try and compare this game to other superhero games, especially more recent ones such as Arkham Knight and even Spider-Man, but it kind of feels like you have to compare this game with those just to talk about some of the elements that these games do share. Now, I want to start off with the characters in Arkham Knight, as you do have other characters to play as in that game that are pretty much the same ones from Gotham Knights, but you don't get to play as them freely. It is more of a specific moments or certain levels created for them specifically. Whereas in Gotham Knights, you are able to play with these characters whenever you want. Unfortunately, unlike Arkham Knight, Gotham Knights, they don't really have the full utility belt arsenal that Batman has in Arkham Knight. Even when you go through the skill tree, you maybe unlock one type of ability, such as Batgirl has the grapple hook that she can use to pull enemies towards her, similar to what Batman has in the Arkham games. But you're still not going to see anything comparable to the Arkham games with all the different gadgets like the spray plastic bomb, the electricity things, the grapple pull, etc., etc., the hacking devices. You're not going to see that in Gotham Knights. Even going forward with that, even Spider-Man has a bunch of gadgets that he can use in his game. So it is kind of disappointing to see that for a Batman game, these Batman characters do not have the full arsenal. Now, when it comes to traversal in this game, it's pretty interesting how traversal is handled in Gotham Knights. You do have your motorcycle as an option, and each character does have their individual method of traveling throughout the map. Batgirl can glide, Robin can teleport, and Red Hood has the endless air jump thing. But there is something that needs to be discussed here as well. When it comes to the motorcycle traversal, while it is a bit more nicer to look at and a bit more functional compared to the ugly Batmobile tank from Arkham Knight, it just feels a bit slow at times. You are able to throw projectiles while you're riding on the motorcycle. That is meant more so when you're chasing down a truck to take down. And you can also do a wheelie, which is meant to go through certain barriers, which is also kind of weird. You can't just break through a barrier without having to do a wheelie to break through it. Other than that, drifting on the motorcycle is pretty bad. And as I said earlier, it does feel kind of slow at times. Now, when it comes to each character's individual mode of transportation, I'm pretty sure Nightwing was said to have the best one, since he basically flies throughout the whole map, despite not really being as fast. Batgirl does have the gliding travel, but it's nothing compared to Arkham Knight in terms of gliding speed, dive bombing into a glide to get more height and distance, and just the grapple to keep your speed and glide going is nothing compared to Arkham Knight, and that is a bit of a problem. Now, of course, compared to Spider-Man, none of these games compare to Spider-Man's method of traversal when you're just swinging and running on the side of the buildings all throughout New York City.
Requested to contain multiple hostile vehicles. Officers needed south of Houston.
I think it's clear that Spider-Man does have the best method of traversal out of all these games. Now, of course, Gotham Knights is not safe from any glitches, but that is also the case for Spider-Man and Arkham Knight as well. So not too much of a negative here, but there are some glitches present in this game.
Your men are safe. Your turn. Who runs the team? Lucky dude.
Now, when it comes to the city in Gotham Knights, this is where I got to give them props because the Gotham City they built here, in my opinion, is far superior to the Gotham City in Arkham Knight. You actually have some civilians in the streets. You have some cars driving around. There's even some trains that you can see moving along the tracks. Even though, unfortunately, you cannot stand on top of a train and ride it around the city. You literally cannot stand on the train. It'll push you away every time you try.
Who is that?
In Arkham Knight, it just feels like a really big mess, like a bunch of just random buildings and areas kind of just packed together. It just looks sloppy. The streets are disgusting. They're full of criminals. There's no civilians to save for the most part. Just the structure and the layout of Gotham City in Arkham Knight just looks bad. It looks like everything is just punched together like a big mess. It's not structured basically. In Gotham Knights, you do have various boroughs, bridges, a bunch of landmarks to discover. Yes, Arkham Knight did have their landmarks, but there are also landmarks to discover here, such as the Iceberg Lounge, Gotham City University, Arkham Asylum, just to name a few of them. But of course, nothing compares to the structure and the landmarks of Spider-Man's New York City, as you are, number one, having a realistic city based off a real-life city that also includes both realistic landmarks and comic book landmarks such as the Empire State Building, the Chrysler Building, the Freedom Tower, Sanctum Sanctorum, Nelson and Murdoch Attorney at Law Building. The list goes on and on with the Spider-Man landmarks. But regardless of that point, Gotham Knights does have a pretty solid city that looks really good. Might look a bit better on the Xbox, I believe, compared to the PlayStation, but you do have a pretty nice city to look at for the most part, much better than what you see in Arkham Knight. And unfortunately, you do have some pop-ins when you're flying through the air in Gotham Knights for the city. But like I said, it's a really nice city, and I think a lot more could have been done in terms of NPCs and the other cars in the streets. The city could feel a little bit more alive than it does currently, but they still get props for the city in this game. Now, yes, Gotham City is a big positive for the game, as I mentioned, with the design and everything. But another positive for Gotham Knights is the different costumes you can unlock and purchase for each character. You got some really badass designs, and you can change the color of these designs as long as you unlock those other color options. And you can get some really cool different styles. Each outfit that you can unlock will also include, for the most part, different versions of the cowl, the symbol on the chest, the gloves, and the boots. So you can kind of do a mix and match type of thing with the outfits for those costumes. And they do also provide different types of boosts that you can use throughout battling, combat, and all that stuff. There are also some interesting villains in Gotham Knights like Clayface, Mr. Freeze. You do have some of the returning regulars like Penguin and Harley Quinn. And the game also has a pretty decent photo mode. Nothing as great as games like Horizon Forbidden West and in some cases Spider-Man. But definitely a much better photo mode than Arkham Knight, a better photo mode than God of War Ragnarok, unfortunately, because Ragnarok has a pretty poor photo mode, honestly. Plus, you do also have that 2-player co-op mode, which is untethered, so you can freely explore Gotham City on your own while your partner is on the other side of the city doing whatever they want to do, and that's pretty cool. I do give them props for that. There is no 4-player co-op, unfortunately, but there is a 4-player multiplayer mode that you can try. I currently cannot play that mode as of yet because I have not reached I guess whatever point in the game I need to reach to access that 4-player mode. I unfortunately cannot do that. But on top of all that, there is some other things to talk about with the gameplay. There are some positives here that I just mentioned, but when it comes to combat, which is a very important thing for these games, I gotta be honest, Arkham Knight has a much better combat system compared to Gotham Knights. It's much more faster, It's much more fluid. It's much more expansive and diverse. There's so many different things you can do in Arkham Knight's combat. You can use various gadgets. You can do a double takedown, a double counter, even a triple counter as well. You can use different items in the environment to, you know, defeat enemies. Whereas in Gotham Knights, you're just basically punching and dodging and occasionally using some kind of special move to defeat an enemy. Spider-Man's combat, of course, does compare a bit closer to Arkham Knight with some differences, whereas Spider-Man has more aerial attacks and other things that he can do that Batman won't be able to do. But of course, Batman has those things that Spider-Man can't do in the game.
Okay, donut dunkers. You gonna bring Ivy to me, or am I gonna have to get her myself? Have it your way! Down, boy! Didn't see that one coming, did ya? Beat it! Bam! Bam! All steady! Uncivilized! Bye-bye, pig! Wow, you're slow!
So in conclusion with all of this, I gotta be honest here. If you are a fan of Batman or even just superheroes and you are looking for a good open world superhero game, yes, I think Gotham Knights is worth playing, but I do not think it's worth the full price. The game does go for $70 full price, but if you do have an Xbox Series X, it is currently on sale for $34. Only a couple days left on that sale. I think $34 is an amazing price for that game. It was recently on sale physical for $50, which is also a decent price for the game, but I think it should be maybe $40 to $45 for a physical copy if you want to get it on sale. Unfortunately, it is not on sale for PlayStation on the PlayStation Store, but as I said, if you have an Xbox and you don't care about digital versus physical, it is on sale for $34 digitally on Xbox, and that would be a really great deal for this game. Now, if you need a final reason to try this game, there is some serious Batgirl booty in this game. I'm just kidding, but not really. That's my video for today. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed this comparison. Hope you enjoyed this little quick, somewhat review of Gotham Knights. Check out my other videos on the channel. You guys have been great, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Also, Red Hood kinda sucks in this game. Like, seriously, he's bad.
Comments.